There's the welcome. Welcome to our Wednesday, May 1st, Mentoring Stewards call. This is our public call, the first Wednesday of every month. So welcome. And we're going to come into this May Day by embodying this freshness of what I think May always feels like to me. So let us take a few deep breaths and gently close our eyes. Bring your awareness into your heart center. You may want to put your hand over your heart and just really feel the energy moving in your heart center. And with that, we just bring that energy and imagine it moving and expanding in every direction. And as it does that, imagine it moving down toward the tips of our toes, enlivening every cell of our being, moving up toward the crown of our head. And follow the motion of a toroidal field that comes from the heart and expands out throughout your whole field, through the central core, and back around again. Be with that motion, that energy, that love. It's pulsing from the core of our being out to the perimeter of our field. And having that very strong toroidal field around ourselves, we expand that into our surroundings, allowing ourselves to merge, converge, and mingle with the natural life, with nature, with the trees outside, the plants, the bunnies hopping in the yards, squirrels jumping in the trees, the birds flying and singing. Even in the snow, those beautiful animals are playing and enjoying spring. And then imagine connecting with one another here on this call, reaching out from heart to heart, making that connection. And so often when we make that heart connection, we experience ourselves reaching our heart energy out toward one another in connection. I want you to take a breath and imagine yourself receiving those connections as they're coming towards you. Really receive that heart connection. And see how the field just comes even more alive. And we send this regenerative force of love out around our beautiful planet. And we experience it coming back to us again and again, being a conduit for the force of love. And then imagine that you are receiving is coming from source. And then you're sending from your heart and around, and it's coming right back at you from that horizontal plane as you're being filled through that vertical plane. And on this first day of May, May Day, we think of spring and renewal and newness, life that's coming back to our landscapes. I want you to just focus for a moment because our check-in is going to be a little different today. I want you to listen inside for a blessing. When I think of the word may, I often think of a blessing. May peace prevail on earth. May all beings be happy, healthy, whole. I want you to think of, listen for whatever blessing comes from your heart, from your higher source, as a blessing that begins with the word may. And with that, we're just going to gently open our eyes and begin our check-in by sharing those blessings. Again, it's a blessing that begins with the word may. May peace prevail on earth, whatever that is for you in this moment. With that, I'm putting the crystal talking stick in the center.
Good morning again. My name is Rosemary. This is my first time, and I would like to share my blessing. May all of humanity be awakened to the divinity within, connected to Source, both from above and below and all around. I'm complete. Thank you.
This is Mahid from Boulder. May the truth within each heart would be revealed, and we live in peace and harmony as the creators that we are.
May all beings know freedom and peace. May we know love and help it increase. I'm complete.
May love be all, peace be all, grace be all, compassion be all.
May all children of the earth sing their heart song, feel the joy of love holding them, and really dance in the freedom and magic of love.
May we support each other in deepening our faith that the supreme origination is the same as the supreme end to begin again. And this field is the resonant field that in fact has no beginning and no end. And we are all safe within this magical bubble. And may we support each other in the faith and the trust and the sharing of this magical journey.
Karen and Oriana, would you like to share? There you are.
All right. May the world awaken as one heart in love and know itself to be one organism, one heart, and know that it has a will to live. And the more we feel it, the more we love as one heart, the more that will to live comes alive. And the universe is awaiting this one baby world to awaken and be a universal being.
May the birthing of this new world, this new paradigm of love and peace, based in love and peace, be complete.
Hmm. Well, may all beings remember their wholeness. May all beings feel valued, connected, and fully expressed as whole beings within a unified whole living system. And that is our vision statement for good of the whole. So welcome, everyone. Thank you. That was really, really quite stunning. I'm happy that May Day inspired that. I want to go back and listen to all that again. It'll be beautiful transcribed as well. So welcome here. This call, being our public call, is a little bit different than our other mentoring stewards call. This is our time to really check in, to feel one another, to invite opportunities for mutual support, to just hold each other where we're at, as John's beautiful blessing was, and lift each other. Like, for example, Victoria's in the middle of a book launch with Ron, and we want to remind everybody to hold this, to spread that word on social media, what have you. I'll let her do that check-in. We also have some new projects. We're all working on things all the time, and so this is our time for check-in. But I do want to read the quote from this morning, because Hereditary Chief Phil Lane is on my show today, which begins right after our call here. And I saw this quote on his website, and it was so beautiful. So I went to go look for it, and it literally is 16 principles to live by for a harmonious, sustainable, loving planet, or something. I can't remember the language of it. But this sentence turns into 4 sections, which turn into 16 principles to live by, and it's so beautiful. So if you didn't read that quote in your email, it says, starting from within, working in a circle, in a sacred manner, we heal ourselves, our relationships, and our world. And it's so synchronistic with our vision and mission for good of the whole and what we hold here. So I wanted to say that, because each one of those pieces then break into 4 principles. So starting from within, and it teaches us the starting from within part, and has these beautiful lessons and pieces to live by. Working in a circle, so they talk about that. And then in a sacred manner, so they have 4 pieces, principles. And then we heal ourselves, our relationships, and our world. So it's really quite exquisite. So I invite you to check that out, support Phil. It's on his website, which is 4 Worlds International, something international. So it's FWII.net. FWII. But anyway, you'll find those there. So starting within, we've all really work on this often and come into that place. And there's so many beautiful things that are emerging. Thank you, Linda. In all of our work. And I'm excited about some new pieces that are dropping in, and we just finished Love Lives here. So let's do a check-in. But first I'm going to hand this off to Shelley to see if there's anything specific that you would like to say on behalf of Good of the Whole. And then we will just see what's moving in the field, and how can we create more coherence for one another and mutual support. So Shell.
Hi everyone, sorry I was late. Have a lot going on in this house here. So something came to me. I'm just going to share this because it came to me as I was listening to each one of you. Hey, Oriana, can you try muting yourself? There's a lot of squeaky, and everybody else. I don't know if that's going to help. Maybe it's true. So what came to me was, it's not so much what you have to give to good of the whole or to the whole. It's about receiving what the whole has to give to you. And that was a really interesting thought for me, because, I'm always coming from that place of, I got to show up, I got to show up, I got to show up, and what do I have to give to go to the whole? And we're all giving a lot. But that message this morning was it was like nectar to my body, because it was about, wait a minute, there's something grand that is bringing us together to receive this interconnectivity and everything that's been shared here this morning. So it was a slight shift of opening more to being receptive, instead of trying to figure out, how am I going to figure out my life with everything I'm doing, that kind of space. So that came to me. And in terms of I'm just want to share my gratitude for every little bit of contribution and participation for Love Lives Here, whether it was just that you were reading it or maybe sharing it. I know it made a big impact on my heart, as much as I could take in, and there was a lot. As well as, just really honoring the different things. So for me, this month is a very big transitional month. But what I want to say here is that the most poignant thing for me right now to invite people to be aware of, and we would love, it's great that we come together every week virtually. I mean, we get a deep sense of each other, and coming here on Wednesday, we're even going in deeper. But if you can come to the Good of the Whole retreat this year, there is a magic that happens there, that when we come together physically, and we all know this. And so in designing that time together, we're really inviting each one of you to bring your voice, your heart, and let's deepen into this expression of wholeness, because it has its own holographic voice. And in terms of what everyone was sharing, bringing peace, experiencing wholeness, John feeling supported, and I'm sorry I missed a couple, I had to go inside, but that, it's just a special time together. So I'm just inviting you, that we have it set up that you can just make a deposit, and it's also a private retreat. So if you know people that you think would really benefit by the experience you're having, either of the Monday calls or this Wednesday time together, or building this field of wholeness and articulating that, it would be good to invite them, because it is a limited space and a beautiful, Julie's Lake House is such a sacred, safe space for people. So that's all I really want to share right now. Thank you for listening, and I love you all, and hopefully we'll be seeing you this summer. Fall as well.
As we check in and just say what's going on with us here on this call, feel free to say your name and where you're from. And for Rosemary's benefit, we always feel the essence of the person. We don't have to give this big biography, but say a few words about yourself. And so Rosemary gets an essence of who you be, and we learn more about her. So with that, put the talking stick back in the center. Welcome, Rosemary.
I'd like to follow what Shelley said. I'm Linda Rosenthal. I'm in Northwest Indiana. And Rosemary, it's so lovely to see your face, because we're friends on Facebook and we always seem to be talking to each other. But this is nice. This is how we're building community, is by actually connecting this way and seeing each other. So I can vouch for the sacred space and the joyful feeling of being at the lake house in Nebraska. It takes a little tenacity to get there, but it's so worth it when you get there. For me, it's a 3-hour flight and then a 3-hour drive. So I've been to the retreat since they started a few years ago, and it's so important to be in each other's energy. Zoom is great technology, and it's wonderful that we do this and see each other once a week. But there's something about following the theme of today with the sacred circle and ceremony, and just being able to connect that way is important for the good of the whole. It's been important for me personally. I have to figure it out this year because there's a wedding in there and the weekend, and to figure that out. But I also wanted to say that May 1st for me is always a very special day because it's the birthday of my firstborn child. So my son is turning 44 today, and I remember clearly that May Day in 1975. Whew. So I think what I'm receiving from the whole is still the contribution. It's like the giving, my giving of the 40-day mala mantra meditation during the Love Lives Here. And even though ours was 8 days, it continues for me until 40 days of repeating a mantra for the healing of the earth is complete. And it doesn't seem like it's ever complete, but every time I sit down in the evening to do that, I see your faces. I see the whole of the whole of the planet, and it's just beautiful what moves into my mind. Every kind of topography that you could imagine, under the sea and in the bottoms of the forests and on top of mountains and in caves and in fields of flowers and gardens. It's just what Earth really offers us that I can receive is quite miraculous, and it's so abundant. So I'm feeling that, and if I'm asking for support, it would be for you to start your own 40-day mala mantra meditation. I don't think it's too late to sign up, but I'll be doing a couple of live Facebook or Zoom connections to walk you through it again and see how you're doing. So it's my joy to give that. It's also my joy to receive what the earth is giving me from that, and to know that we're all here doing this together. So that's sort of it for my check-in right now. Thank you. Love you.
Welcome, Eric. We are just doing a little round table here of some check-ins, and you're welcome to jump in, introduce yourself, or just sit back and listen for a little bit. So we're just doing a little check-in.
Good morning once again. Buenos dias. I would like to introduce myself, and going back to your comment, Linda, yes, we seem to cross paths on Facebook recently. However, the first time that we met was by voice in February of 2015, when we both were present, if I'm not mistaken, on one of Barbara Marx Hubbard's class. The Sacred Journey of the Pioneering Soul, I think is what that was called. In any case, it's a delight and an honor to be here and to have been invited. I am feeling so connected to not only the earth, but the energy that we all co-create together. I'll just simply start by saying, yes, I'm North American. I'm actually from the Midwest, as I see many of you are, Nebraska. Wow, yes. And I hear your accent, so it makes me feel like I'm Dorothy going home, you know. I say that and chuckle because for the last almost 23 years of my life, I've been living and continue to live in Central America. I've been in Costa Rica, I live in the mountains of the Central Valley. And I initially came here from Colorado, where I had lived for about 10 years, I guess. It's been a long time. I left Colorado in '96 with the intention, at least this intention, you know, good Midwestern values, and you have a 1-year plan and a 5-year plan. And what happened to me in 1996 is my 1-year plan, which was to finish my master's degree in bilingual education, Spanish, English. It totally became discombobulated, and I think of it as a piece of something, a leaf perhaps, that has been attacked by the leaf cutter ants, and it becomes pieces of leaf. And that's really what happened to me, is this solid vision or goal of what I thought was to be my future didn't happen. My heart blew open, and I can talk about that now. I couldn't talk about it for so long. I became enamored with the culture here, and eventually a man who is the father of, by the way, Linda, my youngest son has his 21st birthday today. So May 1st for me is a significant day. And here in Costa Rica, it's Dia del Trabajador. It's late, like in English, we would say Labor Day. So this is a day, a vacation day for everyone, and it's a day of rest, but to reflect upon our service, at least for me, our service in the world, because for me, that's what work is. It's sacred work, it's service. So in any case, here I am. Again, my 1-year plan went out the door. I've been here ever since. I love my life here because I can, in so many ways, be of service. And the giving and the receiving that was mentioned definitely for me happens here. I'm really honored to say I feel like a conduit here on so many levels. I often think of myself as that tree, you know, with the solid trunk, you know, solid trunk of transmission, of transmitting, because for me, I know I have to be, and I'm grateful to say I feel grounded to the earth. And it's very easy to do here, by the way. I live with my windows open 24/7 all year round. I have birds and flowers and trees and water all year round in ways that feed me. That's, if I have to use the word church, my church is nature. So I'm very graced and blessed to be surrounded by my church all the time. And so not only do I feel grounded here, but as a tree and a conduit, my branches are extended wide. Because when I think about the projects that really make my cells vibrate, glisten, there are several. And I've really, in the last years, become very clear what those are. And one of the major ones right now is I've been immersed in the Essene teachings for 2.5 years now. I actually had an experience here in Orosi, Costa Rica, that is rooted in the work of Dr. Edmond Bordeaux-Sickley. Some of you may know him as the translator of some of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he wrote very prolifically about the Essenes and their way of life and life in the natural world. In any case, that man passed away here. Passed away. No, he's still here, believe me. Transitioned, whatever word you want to use, he's still here. Physical body, not here, but he left a golden seed, as I say, here in Orosi, Costa Rica. His last international seminar was in July of 1979, so we're going on 40 years. And as I said, the last 2.5 years, I've been reading many of his books, not all 80 yet. I don't have them, but I am drooling at your library there, Julie, behind you, because one day on one of my walls, I will have a similar library of all of his books and more. So yes, one of the branches, or one of the branches of where I feel connected and a conduit is learning about and transmitting, not so much through what I say, but by beingness, the essence that the Essenes brought to our planet. And it's a beautiful space to wander in. So I'm very grateful. That's one of them. I'm tied into, in a lovely way, in a beautiful, shiny purple bow, I'm tied into a retreat center here in Orosi, Costa Rica. It's called El Minifundo. And I'm speaking with you today on the heels of a weekend retreat, of which I was one of 3 of the coordinators of the retreat, to receive Tibetan Lama Wanchen. Many those of you who know of not only the Dalai Lama, but Lama Wanchen is the only Tibetan Buddhist monk who speaks Spanish. And so he's been based in Barcelona, and he's doing a Latin American tour, and he arrived in Costa Rica last Tuesday, I believe it was, Monday or Tuesday, and he left yesterday. And that's to start his Latin American tour with his book, Lejos de Tibet, Far from Tibet, which is his life story. So to be in the presence of a Tibetan Lama, along with about 35 other people, some of whom are dedicated Buddhists, I felt really honored to be in that presence of that energy. So the retreat center is another one of my projects. And again, not alone. I work on a circle, or in a circle of women. And when an event happens, at least 3 of us are come together to do the event. You know, that magic number 3, creativity. The other part of my branch, and I'll finish because I'm being long, but since this is my first time and I feel very comfortable here, I also serve people in recovery, the other side of addiction, working with family members who have been affected by family members or friends in addiction. And so that's a part of my service that I'm dedicated to. And it's such an honor, once again, to walk along the path with those who may be struggling and not really know what the solution might be. Not that I have the solution, but I certainly am a deep listener and can offer, not even answers, but the guidance, just holding people, just like was mentioned by John, to hold people. So that's an honor. I think with that, I will wrap up by saying, as I already have, that it is an honor to be here. I participate in other virtual communities. I'm really clear that I have to keep my life balanced. That I came in this time as a Libra, so that's one of my lessons. And I finally reached a point in my 64 years on the planet where I feel like I have not a control of that, but I can navigate balance. I can touch into myself when I feel like I'm either doing too much or doing not enough. So that's really a blessing to be personally guided. So I wish you all well. I look forward to the rest of the call. Thank you for letting me share. My email, yes, I'm connected to Linda, but my Facebook, let's connect, let's do that. And I look forward to beautiful unfoldings in this field and perhaps other projects that we're not aware of yet. Because when one is connected, I can speak for myself. the magic, and it's really not magic. The essence of who we are is truly, truly the alchemy that brings together all that is good, all that is noble, all that is serving, not only to one, but to all of us. So I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Pura vida. Thanks. Bye.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen, also in Costa Rica. Hi, Rosemary. We've been doing some collaborating for some time now. May is a very big month for me. I loved hearing about the birth of others' children today. This is my birth month. And so, and of course, it's also May Day today, Mother's Day coming up, U.S. Mother's Day. But today in Costa Rica is Labor Day. But if you think of labor in another way, as birthing, this is, I feel so strongly that we are in the midst of the birthing of this new emergent world, and that maybe this month the birthing will be complete. And I don't even know where to begin to share. I've had so much coming through to me from the field, or whatever you want to call it. I call it infinite first source of all that is, ever has been, and ever will be. And so I know I'm being led. I loved the theme of the circle, because it's like, and for Shelley, my connection recently, very strong connection to Peter Shampoo, you may know him, and some of his work with the ley lines and the drawings, and Kathleen's Colorado Center, which inspired one of his last books, for about the Four Corners area, and that, who I've also been working with her for years. We have the same assignment in many ways, in some ways, when it comes to the community projects, and needing to understand the ley lines and symbols and things more all of a sudden, even though it's been 3-4 years since I first saw that drawing. And Rosemary sends something that brought me back to the Return of the Dove, and that triggered me to go to also the map in the Book of Knowledge, Keys of Enoch by J.J. Hertog, which led me to listening to some of J.J. Hertog's things, which brought me, and before all this was listening to Drumble Melchizedek and going to the space in the heart, and my work with Oriana, working to Oriana. I'm so grateful. I'm trying to understand now about grounding within, going within, not just. I like being out there, Oriana. So learning to do it within, to go within as much, and that special place in the heart. But then the Hertog led me to other things, and back to the Gnostics, which led me to another connection that I have that none of you would know, which led me back to some of Bill Donohue's work, and which then again led me back to going within and more, and it's just been okay, and the geometrics and the quantum physics, and okay, God, what do you want? The dots trying to connect themselves, and And so it's coming together. I don't know how or when I can see it. I know the birthing is in the midst of happening. And how we all will be bringing our pieces together. Because I believe we all have pieces to some amazing, great, divine puzzle information that all the clues have been left to us. Now it's up to us to find them and remember, because I believe we've done this before. It's remembering. So this time we make it through without the need for massive birth changes that cause a restart and starting over again, but a time when we get to both manage to pass through, raise consciousness, pass through, and continue creating that prophesized time of maybe an endless golden age on this planet. And some say 100 years, some say 1,000 years. I feel the possibility of endless. That's my check-in for today. And back to knowing that I'm on the right track with things I'm hearing. I was guided to create a crystalline light foundation. But what came through also was, because the foundation is a crystalline light, which leads back to so many of this circle of things I'm being led to. We are crystalline light beings made of water, which is liquid light. So thank you all. I won't say I'm complete, because I don't know if I ever will be, but I'm complete for this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to invite our shares for everyone, with the exception of Eric, to be really on that edge of if there's a need for mutual support, that we're calling that piece in right now, or just putting your voice in the field. So we have about 10 minutes, and Eric, you're welcome to introduce yourself. Welcome to our call. We'd be happy to share more about what we've been doing here as well. So we can't hear you, Eric. You're off mute, but no microphone. No, can't hear you. Oh no. There's a, if you've not used Zoom, down by the microphone, there's a little arrow, and it will give you the options of a microphone or your built-in mic on your computer.
Like this one. Did that make a difference?
Yes. Yeah. Turn it up a little bit more, maybe volume-wise, and.
How does this sound?
You're very low and muted, but we can kind of hear you. So.
Well, this is brand new for me, this particular system, so my apologies for not having it all together. Thank you, Julie. I'll talk up, see if that helps. I'm here via the invitation of Nahid. This is brand new to me. She and I have come into contact recently and sharing things of import to each other, with each other. And she mentioned good of the whole, which I had not heard of before. She is overwhelmingly positive about this group, this action. And invited, told me there was this general, I guess, a monthly meeting you have or something. I could join in, and I apologize. Literally, my alarm did not go off, and I was late getting in. I wanted to be here earlier. To introduce myself, and just my brief listening to who's spoken beforehand, I get the sense of each of you apparently being very familiar with the sort of going to depth. I'm guessing, that's my interpretation. And so I'll say, who am I? One of the things I normally, at times in a playful way, I'll introduce myself as being a traveling monk. Traveling monk and an agent of change wrapped together. I walk a very fine line between conventional lifestyle and a very unconventional lifestyle. My personal commitment at this point in my life, and I'm in my 70s, is to manifest as much love and truth on this planet as I can. And my best vision of how to do that for me personally, the calling has time again been a strong impulse toward everything I can do to help create conscious community. As an example of a seed that's been planted within me long ago, in my late 20s, I would sit in a chair in a patio and look back by myself, rest back, look up the sky, go into blank thinkingness, and have thoughts, impulses of creating a new culture. What would it be like to create a new country, a new way of being, using everything that we know we've come to gain to create the next best step forward for humanity. And that impulse has been there ever since then, if not beforehand. And my work is offering retreats on creating conscious community. What else to say? It's a fire that burns within me. There's no two ways about it. As much of a challenge as it's been at times, and disappointments and frustrations and this, that, and the other, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense to keep doing this. A voice will come into my head, the negativity voice, and I can't leave it. I can't back away. There is no other choice for me. You perhaps can tell, and it sort of surprises me in a sense, yes, no. The passion in my voice as I talk about this, I'm aware of my own passion that comes up. And I'm looking for others where there's a passion, a fire in the belly, a light in the heart, a light in the mind. And particularly my phrasing, is when the light and the heart and the mind are aligned together, my reference point is that that becomes the soul-infused personality. And you, me, I, whoever, in that condition is following an impulse that is beyond this particular lifetime. That's my best reference. You mentioned, you said excluding me to the others about if there is some need. I'll put out, quote, my advertisement, if you will. July 4th, this coming July 4th weekend, I'm doing a Gateway to Community retreat event. Nahid knows about this. And I'm giving it as a gift. The normal fee is $325. I'm asking people only to give me $25 to hold their space. And if they feel like gifting anything else, that's fine. And it's a powerful experience about developing interpersonal community, deep interpersonal community between people. One of the one of the particulars about that is when we come together, we being 2, 3, 4, whatever number of people, more than one, if we truly start to become intimate, to know each other, we'll come up with differences, whatever they might be, and how we handle those, learning to handle them without going into fight or flight. And a large part of this retreat experience is about just that. It's the group as a whole learning to monitor itself. I'm not a leader, I'm a facilitator at best. To recognize when a fight or flight type of response is coming up inside of me, and to have practiced experience at moving beyond that. And my experience with that is when that happens, the energy that before was going into fight or flight now is released to move upwards. And out of that will come magic, things that we never anticipate with regard to problems or challenges we're facing. And this is the sort of thing that I wish to gift to people, to the world, to the best of my ability. So thank you, Julie, for, I gather you're the host, the creator of all of this. Well, again, I'm brand new and I'm intrigued. So let me just terminate it there unless you or someone has a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I think Shelley has a question. I was just going to, no, you're off mute.
I will after you. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to welcome you both, Rosemary and Eric. That was beautiful to learn a little bit more about each of you. And I do want to say, yes, you found this collective that has the fire in the belly and the light and the heart and the mind. So you're here in community. This is beautiful. You both fit in so beautifully. I can feel the resonance and the coherence here. So thank you for that. And yes, I'm facilitating the call as one of the co-founders of Good of the Whole, and yet many on the call here are mentors, and we hold this space collectively together for the good of the whole. So thank you for that. And with that, we are at the top of the hour, so I'm just going to invite Shelley to come in if you want to make a comment, and we can bring this into more closure. Shell?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, everyone. And Eric, I think you really, expressed who we are. This is, and we call ourselves a co-mentoring community, that we acknowledge each other as, as you have your passion and you want to get your stuff out, and as anyone here, Nahid and Linda, but we understand that together we're greater than the sum of our parts, and that we come here, and this is what this Wednesday call is really facilitating. The call is the voice of the whole speaking to us as how we can, the word that's always been used is co-create, which is co-creating with source. But here we're like just kind of undulating with the field, understanding that we're co-mentoring. So thank you for sharing, as well as the invitation is to become a mentoring steward. We are talking about, what's the value and the benefits, and ultimately each week, except for this first call, is specifically about this interweaving of our soul, passion, expression, and how it wants to mentor itself and mentor and go out and mentor each other. Like we just finished Love Lives Here, and we're listening to what's next, what are we, and that's really why we come together in, logistically as a whole, or one whole being in the fall. So with that, I hand it back to Julie, and if anyone else hasn't spoken, can we give them a minute to just pop in their finest expressions in less than a minute?
Well, we can certainly invite that in. It might be a trick to do it very simply, but everybody put their voice in with the beautiful blessing at the top of the hour. But if you feel like you want to add your voice again, you're welcome to just come forward with a real brief, maybe closing blessing.
I just want to say one thing real quickly. Rosemary, welcome. Eric, if you look around this tapestry of these incredible women, you and I are very rare beings in this process, and I welcome you personally as a brother in arms to hold with our love this space that we share every week.
That was perfect. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Anyone else for the good of the whole?
Julie, since you mentioned Ron's book, everyone, this is Victoria. Nice to meet the new people. I was just in Costa Rica, in Manuel Antonio. We spent winters there, many winters there. So, 1 minute. So, my husband of 52 years, Ron Friedman, who is the most amazing man, really. He's a physicist, a poet, a scientist, a doctor, an MD. And so he's been writing poetry for 2 years. His book just came out. This is not a, it's a draft, and it's called Forever's Looking. And we had a wonderful hour-long launch the other day. I'm just waiting for thank you. It was really a fun lunch. It was a love fest. The people were amazing. And so anyway, we're waiting for it to be on Amazon, and then I'm going to send out the replay of the launch with Rick Olfink and Heidi singing that amazing Woodstock song. It just was so much fun. And anyway, Ron, I mean, I tell them what it's like to live with him. I've got a Sufi in the kitchen. I've got Hafiz watering plants in the morning. Costa Rica was like one cone floating out of another. That was just, so anyway, he is the most remarkable human being. And so he doesn't know anything about marketing. He doesn't go on calls. He doesn't look at his Facebook page and how many people checked it at all. So I have to do this for him, guys. So just look at my Facebook page, Victoria Friedman, and in 2 days it should have the replay along with the Amazon link. And just share it, and if you send me your address, I'll send you a book. Send me your address, text me your address, I'll send you a book. Because it's really, it's like really you have it by your bedside. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, and send us that when it's out on Amazon, and we can put that out too for you. So we'll share it. Anything else for the good of the whole? And the heat's on mute, off mute.
I just want to say that welcome and thank you for listening to the longing of your heart, creating a conscious community. The conscious community is already happening. They were waiting. The field is waiting for you. And thank you for listening and showing up. I'm complete.
Beautiful.
And I just want to honor Henry, who is another male, and there are other males that are really part of our team and Resonance Council, and holding all those ones that are really holding good of the whole and bringing out this message of wholeness.
And Glenn.
And Glenn and Marion and
Marion. Goes on and on.
How do we close a call like this without doing Shelley's yummy yum? Yeah, I love this. I loved how we started. So thank you for those blessings. Thank you, Linda, for the heart space. Oh, itsy bitsy spider. That's what I do with Cooper. That's what that looked like. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. If you're not a mentoring steward and you want to learn more information, you can find that on the website, or you can contact Shelley or I through the website, goodofthewhole.com. If you're curious about how to come to this call and get on the mailing list, if you're invited with someone else, you can sign up on the Good of the Whole site as well. And yeah, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you all the first Wednesday in June. I'll be coming from New York City. I'll be coming from actually Cranford, New Jersey at that time with a brand new grandbaby, and but I'll be on our regular mentoring stewards call next week, so we'll see you all then. Mwah. You can unmute yourself and say goodbye.
A big hug to all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Pura vida. Buenas tardes. Ciao.
Bye from Costa Rica.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.